So I don't know if any of you have ever tried leather jewelry making before, but this is going to be a really nice beginner's piece where we're going to learn how to do some braided leather jewelry, and we're also going to learn how to do some sliding knots so that you can make some adjustable pieces. So I love leather jewelry. It's really for everyone. It's also a really good thing that you could do for a Father's Day gift, or for just a friend or anyone else you want to make something for. But it's really good for everyone. It's a kind of general unisex kind of jewelry that really looks nice on everyone. So it's a really nice skill for you to be able to learn how to do some of the braiding. And the most important thing about learning how to deal with the leather is how to do the end of the bracelet. So that's something we'll definitely spend some time on together today. So I'm going to teach you two different bracelet styles. Like I said, we're going to do some leather braiding, and then we're going to do some sliding knots. If you have any questions, as always, let us know in the chat. And we're so glad that you are joining us live today. So remember that this video will go up onto YouTube, and then you'll be able to watch it again and again. So you could even go out and buy some more materials and grab another friend and come watch this class again. So let's switch over and talk about some materials. The things that I put on the shopping list for you are going to be this Latigo lace. Is like a really nice thick leather. And we're going to use this on our braiding projects in order to make these really nice, thick braided bracelets. So this is a Latigo lace, and it comes in different spools. There's two different places at Michael's where we sell our leather. We sell it in the jewelry section, but we also sell it in a craft section too. So if you don't see it in the jewelry section, you can also go back by the crafts, like where the wood is and things like that. And sometimes you can find some spools there as well. And then the big key ingredient here is going to be these ribbon clamps. So they're like little alligator teeth, and they close over the end of the leather. And that's what's going to give us a really nice finish to our piece. Otherwise, you can imagine that the leather gets pretty crazy. So we have these lovely little ribbon clamps that are going to go over the edge of the leather and really just make a nice finish on that bracelet. And then I'm also going to use some suede. So suede sometimes is cheaper than the leather, and suede can come in lots of different colors. There's a really cute little pack that comes with like a teal and a lighter brown and a darker brown. I think it's called something like toast is the color of it, which I think is really adorable. So this is really nice materials to be able to make some of these sliding bracelets where you just add some wooden beads, or if you have some of these plastic beads that I suggested too. What's really nice about these beads that I'm suggesting is that they have very large holes in these beads. So because this material that we're working with is so thick, you're definitely going to need something that has a pretty big hole in order to be able to thread that through leather. So even if you find the most beautiful beads you want to use on this leather band, you might not be able to because you really got to pay attention to the size. So I will be using some jewelry tools also, 2 pairs of pliers, and then have that jewelry bindings kit that has the lobster clasp and also the different jump ring sizes. So those are all the different tools that we're going to be using today in order to make these 2 different kinds of bracelets. So we're going to start with this braided bracelet, and you can see I have 2 different finishes for you. So on this one that I'm wearing, I'm really lazy and I live by myself, and I don't always like being able to do a clasp by myself. So I love throwing some elastic on anything so that I can get this on and off without any trouble at all. But also I have this one where it is a more metallic polished finish. So I added some jump rings and added this lobster clasp. And also it's nice because this can be an adjustable size. So if you don't know the size of the wrist of the person you're making for, it's nice to have lots of different choices for them to decide how far they want to close this up, depending on the size of the wrist. So we're going to learn how to do both of these different kinds of things with this braided kind first. And you can use the suede for the braiding, but I'm going to start off with Latigo lace. And you don't need a ton of it. We are going to need 3 strands because we're doing a nice 3-part braid. And what we're going to do with those strands is we're going to cut about 8 inches. So I'm going to cut 3 8-inch pieces. And this just happens to be a ruler and kind of a cutting mat. But one of my other tricks of the trade is going to be if you have a clipboard, That's going to be really helpful in kind of holding some of your materials while you're braiding them or while you're working with them. If you don't have a clipboard, if you have something like a binder clip, a binder clip's going to do the same job where you can stick some of that material underneath here and grab it so that it holds it nice and tight for you while you're working on it. So find yourself maybe a binder clip or a clipboard or a friend, because you could make a friend hold it too. That would be nice of them. I'm going to cut 3 strands that are going to be 8 inches. And if you don't have a ruler, you can always just go for longer than whatever wrist you're making. So this is what 8 inches looks like on my wrist, because notice how we don't need the braids to go all the way to the end since we're going to add some closures right here. So 8 inches is a pretty good size piece, and I'm going to cut 3 of those, and then we're going to get started. So I'm glad that you're here. We have some people from Florida, and I think there are a couple other places that people told us about. So I'm glad that you're here and making this leather jewelry today. I like to know sometimes too if you're making along with me or if you're just watching, so that I know if I need to go any slower or speed something up. I've cut those 3 8 inches of the Latigo lace. All right, now we are ready for our first jewelry making tip when it comes to these clasps. So these come in a couple different metals, and the different colors of metals and the different things. So there are a lot of nickel-free jewelry that we sell. So if you know that somebody has an allergy, you should be careful with that. So I'm going to look through and find some of the clasps that I want. And I'm also going to use silver right now because I know that I have silver jump rings and silver lobster clasps to go with it. If you start using a clasp that's gold, you should probably match gold to all your other findings also. If you have to mix metals, that's okay, but it's sometimes nicer to try and keep them all in the same metal color if you possibly can. So I have these 2 little ribbon clips, and like I was telling you before, they're like a little alligator mouth with these rigid little teeth. And I'm literally going to take some pliers and I'm going to pinch them on the edge of my leather in order to keep that leather nice and secure where it is. So I'm taking the 3 8-inch strips and I'm lining them up, and hopefully you can see I'm lining a nice straight line across the top. And if I need to trim down a little bit or if I need to scoot things around, I can. And once I feel like that's a pretty good straight line going across, I'm going to line up this ribbon crimp right here. And this is a really nice size for these 3 pieces of the Latigo lace. And then I'm going to take a pair of pliers. And once I have these over top of my 3 pieces that are nice and lined up, I'm literally just going to squeeze it together. And I've found that if you have a hard time holding these pieces together right here, if they're slipping out of your hand, you can also always take a little bit of tape and line those 3 up together with the tape if you're having a hard time holding it with your fingers. And then I'm going to put this crimp over top of them with all the little alligator teeth, and I am going to chew down on it, chomp, chomp. And I'm going to make sure that I go on both of the sides. And I was also pretty careful to make sure that I'm centering it in the middle of that clip so that my bracelet makes sense where it is. And I'm just kind of smushing those teeth into the leather so it's going to grab it and hold on to it nice and tight for me. Now that I've lined these up, I don't need this tape anymore, so I can take this tape back off. And at this point, I'm going to use my clipboard, but you could also use a binder clip or something else. And I'm just going to clip that piece underneath something to hold it still. And then I'm going to do a braid. And you can do your braid as loosely or as tightly as you'd like. But when I'm doing my braid, I'm making sure that all my strands stay the same way, stays facing up. I'm not twisting the strands as I'm doing the braid. I'm really just trying to have one piece go on top of the other without too much extra movement. So it's nice because it's making a little bit of like a loop on my braid, because this lace, this leather lace, is pretty thick. It's not super easy to bend, but that's also going to make for a pretty rugged piece of jewelry, which is also nice. So you can go ahead and keep braiding this all the way down. And you can, if you have the wrist that you're going to actually put it onto, you can kind of measure it against to see how you're doing. And if you need more of the braid or if you need less of the braid, but you're not going to want the braid to go all the way across. You are going to want to leave a little bit of a gap because you need to end the braid with one of these ribbon crimps again. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. And then I'm going to need to line these 3 pieces up again straight. So if I would have finished the braid here and put this one in the middle, it's kind of raised up above. So I actually undid that last piece to try and make a nice smoother finish to my bracelet so that these 3 can line up. And then in the same way, you can put a little piece of tape if you need to or want to, or you can go ahead and kind of use your scissors and trim down so that you get a nice straight line with that leather. And then I'm going to take another one of those crimp pieces, these crimp closures, and I'm going to put it on top of those 3. And then I'm going to use my pliers to clamp down on that. So if you're struggling right here too, you can always use some of that masking tape again to hold those pieces. And then I'm going to go through with my tool. I'm going to make sure that those teeth are grabbing the leather and holding them in place. Make sure that you've crimped it enough so that it is getting those teeth into the leather and it is going to hold in there. Flip it over, make sure I'm getting everything. Trying to keep it center as I go too. And you'll notice that as is, this is not a bracelet yet because both ends of our bracelet are these little loops and there's nothing to clasp onto. So at this point, you have a choice. You could take some black elastic, clear elastic. I love to use Stretch Magic, which is like a stretch elastic for jewelry making. And if you cut just a little piece of this and you go ahead and string it through each one of these ends, you leave a little bit of stretch. You go ahead and you tie a knot. And then you'll be able to have a piece of jewelry that has some stretch to it that can go in and on someone's arm and have a little bit of stretch. And I would tie a couple more knots if I really was going to leave it like this, but I just wanted to show you this one option of having either a clear elastic or a black elastic in order to close that off. So someone's asking, do you find that these crimps are secure enough on their own, or do you advocate a dab of glue? Glue is always welcome. And I would put the glue inside the crimp, and then I would just kind of let that stay in there with it. But I find that these tend to be good. If they're gonna fall off, they fall off right away. And so you know that you didn't quite get the teeth in the leather. And I think the trick with these two is you can't stack the leather on top of each other. You have to stack the leather right next to each other in order to give it a firm closure all the way across. And also we took that time to make the top of it straight. And that helped to keep from one of these kind of falling out if it was tilted downward and one wasn't quite getting enough pull and the other ones were. So yeah, that's awesome. And then we have this bracelet so far that's braided. I already cut the elastic off because I'm going to show you another way to finish it using the jewelry findings. But one other thing I want to show you is this is kind of a loose braid, but I really like the way that it's looking. And once you have a crimp on either side, you can kind of play with your braid. So if you find that you started getting tighter with your braid as you went, you can kind of loosen it up and kind of spread that braid throughout the band, the piece that you're making. And so you can kind of play with that and you can kind of fix any little mistakes that you might have made by doing something a little too loose or a little too tight at the beginning. And just kind of play with that. Now I'm going to use this next part to do some jewelry findings with this. And like I mentioned with the jewelry findings before, I think it's really nice to give options, especially if you're giving this piece as a gift. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make something similar to this, where I attach jump rings to the end, and then I give a couple of larger jump rings as places that you can clip in with your lobster clasp in order to kind of close that off at whatever level they want to close it off at. So on one of our ends, we're going to have the little lobster piece, and on the other end, we're going to have as many jump rings as you think you'd like. So that nice beginner set of findings that I had for you on the list today is really great for this because it gives you two different sizes of jump rings and it gives you a lot of these different clasps for you to attach. So I'm going to grab a handful of the little ones and a handful of the bigger ones and see what I end up connecting together. So the key to jump rings, if you've never been to one of these kinds of jewelry classes, is that a jump ring is made and it always has a break in the circle. And when you have the break in the circle, a lot of times people's tendency is to open the jump ring by kind of widening the circle. But what happens is when you put it back in, it kind of starts warping the size of that circle. So the way to actually open a jump ring is not to pull it apart, but it's going to be to twist it. So you're going to twist one side towards you and one side away from you. And I like to use two different pliers. It doesn't matter if they're needle nose or if they're flat or whatever kind of pliers they are, that's fine. You just need two. So I'm twisting my right wrist towards me and I'm twisting my left wrist away from me. And that was able to get me an opening in my jump ring that I can slide through the end of this piece. And it doesn't matter to me which side you put that on, if you're particular about that, but I think it's okay to be on either side. And then I went ahead and closed up that jump ring the same way that I opened it by just reversing the twist and closing it back up. And you can add different sizes and you can add as many as you want in order to kind of make it a long enough bracelet, because it is kind of cool that even if you end up putting your closure through one of these tight ones, I kind of like that feel of having that extra little chain of metal going down your wrist. I think that that's a cool look also. So I don't think that would be a bad thing if you have it. I'm finding another jump ring and I'm finding the opening of this jump ring. And I'm going to twist it open. And I'm going to take another jump ring and put it in. So I can kind of do two at once. So I put another jump ring in, and then I'm going to put the opening through this original jump ring that I have, and I'm kind of putting them together in order to make this chain. And I can make the chain as long or as short as I want. And I twist it back up to finish it. I think I'm going to add two more. So I'm going to do a small and a large one more time. And then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to attach the closure, which in this case is going to be that lobster clasp. So hopefully you're able to follow along with me, but if you are seeing something that you don't quite understand, let me know, and I'll see if I can explain it differently or hold it up to the camera different so that you can have a good idea of how to do this yourself. That's a nice chain with lots of different options of where you can actually put that clasp. Over here, before I put the clasp, because the clasp comes with a loop at the end of it too, you are going to need at least one jump ring to connect the clasp and the leather binding piece at the end together. But if you want to attach a couple there, you have that option as well. I'm opening this jump ring by twisting it, twisting my wrists and opening that circle that way. You're going to go through the end of this piece. And I'm going to go through the end of this lobster piece, slide that on through, and use my two pliers in order to close this back up. Got a little bit more closing to do. Here we go. It's nice and closed, so that's not going to fall through. And then I have this piece that I can use this clasp at whatever one of these circles I want to, and go ahead and grab that in order to close that up. And this is that like kind of extra dangle of almost like a charm at the end, which I actually think is pretty cool. So you can finish these off either by using elastic, or you can finish them off using some of these jump rings and lobster clasps. And I think it has a really awesome feel to it. It's just a nice piece. I think the one I'm wearing is a little bit of a tighter weave than this one, but I like both of them. And I like how both of them work with lots of different outfits and lots of different styles. So this was our first, is the braided leather. We cut 3 8-inch strips. We braided them together. We crimped the ends with these crimps. And yeah, somebody in the chat just asked about a magnetic closure. Absolutely. And those work in the same way, where you will need to attach a couple of jump rings still, but then you have that magnetic, the 2 magnetic pieces instead of the lobster. And that's going to help keep that together. And you won't have as much trouble, like I was saying before, of trying to put it on yourself. All right, we are ready to go to our next bracelet. And on our next bracelet, I'm going to show you some of the options of things that I have made before, where this is like that light brown suede. And then I found some beads. These are kind of just ones that I found from different places, so I don't necessarily have a link for these ones, but these are just some that I had much larger holes that were easy to fit over top of this suede. And then I tied a couple knots, and I tied this part, is the most important part down here, which is the sliding knot. And so these sliding knots make the bracelet larger. And then when you put it onto your arm, you can slide the knots again and you can make it tighter. So it's going to be able to fit a lot of different wrist sizes. So those sliding knots are going to be what we're going to really focus on next in our next bracelet. Using that same technique, but a black suede instead of a brown suede, I did the same thing, and I added different beads. So sometimes I go ahead and line up the beads right next to each other. And sometimes just for fun, I like to add some extra knots for some extra interest. So maybe between the beads to kind of space them out instead of putting them one right after the other, I might add in a couple of extra just little knots to kind of give it some more interest. And you can plan out your beads and see if there's some kind of design or some kind of color pattern that you want to work into your beads also. So that's what we're going to be doing next. And I'm going to be using some of that suede. Also, isn't this dish adorable? being weird is beautiful, isn't it? So that's my little leather bracelet dish right now. I wanted to tell you too that last week we were doing some macrame earrings. And so some of you, if you were able to come to this class and learn how to do these macrame feather earrings, I honestly think you could use this same cording with these ribbon crimps, and you can do that same braid with some of this cording. So if you have leftovers, or if you want to buy this cording and try the techniques I'm showing you, then you can also go find the earring class with the feather macrame feather earrings. Oh yay, Stacy has hers on. So you can go ahead and find those and learn that and use the same materials, which is kind of nice too. Okay, so I am doing suede, and I'm looking through my supplies to see what kind of suede I'm going to be working with. And another option, if you want to, is there's round leather cording also. So I'm going to be using suede for this next part, but if you have any of this kind of cording that's round, you're more than welcome to use that as well. And it's going to work in a very similar way. So with this, because I'm going to do some extra knots, I think I'm going to cut the piece to be about 20 inches long. So I'm measuring out 20 inches. But if you want to just kind of take a certain length, way more than you would ever need, because we are going to tie a lot of extra knots. So I want it to be way longer than my wrist, maybe a couple times longer than my wrist. And this that I just cut from this suede pack is going to be about 20 inches. And that should give me more than enough room to kind of play around with some different knots. And then I'm going to decide on some different beads to go with this bracelet too. So I have my little bead bag. I love these white ones, but I don't know, I like these red ones too. So you might need to help me decide. You think I should use the white barrels or like the longer red ones, or maybe both? What do you think? Got some blue, have some silver. Ooh, both. Okay. So lots of different options so we can make lots of different kinds. I'm going to use this really long red piece, and I'm going to use 2 of these white ones because I like these designs quite a bit. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to have the red in the middle of my bracelet. So that's the one I'm going to string in first. And luckily these beads are nice and large, so they easily fit. If you're having problems fitting through whatever size hole it happens to be, sometimes you can take a needle nose plier and kind of go in between. And this little end of your tool can sometimes help you jam that bead a little bit more to make it a little wider for you to be able to fit that through. So I'm going to go ahead and fit that through, and I'm going to put that in the middle. So I'm folding it in half to find the middle. And then I'm going to tie a knot on either side of this. And I'm just doing like not even a complete square knot, just like half of a square knot. Just a little bit of something to kind of keep the bead in the place that I want it to be in. I love that. Pamela and Cindy both said both, definitely the red and the white. So that's what we're going to do. So I have a bead on either side just to kind of keep that where I want it to be. And if you wanted to, you could also put the knots a little further away, and then that bead has some movement. So a lot of times with anxiety, if you have jewelry that kind of moves, it can really help you calm down and just kind of stay calm by continuing to move that bead. I don't know if you've ever seen those worry rings that you can just keep wrapping around your finger and trying to calm yourself. So I'm going to attach a white one on either side. And I'm going to tie a knot over here too. And I'm tying them pretty close to the bead for this particular design. And I'm going to tie a white bead over here on my suede. And then I'm very curious to see this next part with these sliding knots. I went to an all-girls school that we needed to wear a uniform. We had to wear brown shoes, and we had to, we wore a lot of brown shoes. And so we called this next knot the Eastland knot. And I'm very curious if that's like a Cincinnati thing or if other people know about an Eastland knot. So let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about or not, or if you've ever heard somebody call it that before. But I'm going to use like a paintbrush. You can use a straw, you can use a paintbrush, you can even use your pliers or something like that, but we're going to wrap some of the cording around something. So something round and something relatively thin. You could probably use barrel knot. So yeah, maybe, I don't know why. I do know why we called it the Eastland knot, because the shoes that were brown suede were Eastlands, but I don't know if anybody else called it that or just we did. Okay, so when I have my knots, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 ends that I have, and I'm going to overlap them, and I'm going to tie a barrel knot or an Eastland knot onto this side, and I'm going to tie one onto this side so that I have 2 that can kind of move back and forth to give you different sizes. So I've lined this piece up, and I'm making sure that it's not all twisted up. So I'm making sure that it kind of stays straight. And then I have these 2 in a nice straight line. And I'm going to put that nice straight line over the end of, for me, it's a paintbrush, but for you, it can be a pencil, whatever you have. And I am going to have one of the pieces move and the other one's going to stay still. I'm still deciding which one I want to stay still. So I have the shorter one that I'm going to be moving around is at the front of my paintbrush, and the other one is at the back. And I'm going to go backwards, and I'm going to go around my paintbrush, and I'm going to try and go around this paintbrush 2 times, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, to kind of make this wrapped up portion. And then I can slide it off of my paintbrush, and this tip is going to go through those coils I just made. And I'm going to pull it carefully because I don't want these to bunch up over top of each other. But you should be able to have at least a few coils around your knot. And then that knot is still going to be able to move and slide up and down your piece of suede. So I've made one of those moving knots. I'm going to do the same thing over here, where I'm going to line the suede up over top of my paintbrush. And I'm going to take the piece that's moving, that's in the front, and I'm going to go kind of cross over the paintbrush. And then I'm wrapping the coils
Hey Megan, I'm not for sure what happened, but I know that it switched up and froze. Can you hear me? Everyone, give me just a second. I am going to reach out to Megan and let her know one of her cameras, her overhead has messed up. So definitely give me just a second. Megan, can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? Let me ask that question. Thank you, Sandra. Okay. Yeah, like we having some technical difficulties on both of our ends.
Ooh,
I
I
see that
think you can
she
hear me now.
is trying her best to
Do you
get it
hear me,
together.
Felicia?
So please bear with us.
Yay! I think I'm back. My forward camera went down, but I think I'm back now on this one. So I was just showing you that.
I can see your hands, but I can't see your other camera.
Yeah, and I think that one went down. So we're just going to use this overhead camera for now, if you can get that one. Can you see on your screen the overhead camera?
Let's see.
My,
1 second, everyone.
I know, sorry about this, everyone. It's saying my internet is down at my house.
Megan,
Yes.
give
Yes.
me a moment. Might have to try to message her. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can get this corrected.
It says Melissa is saying she can see and hear me. So I think I'm going to keep going. And you guys can, it's hard for me to see the questions in the chat right now because I'm just on my phone. Oh, good. You can see and hear me as well. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Bear with us, everyone. So can you guys hear Megan?
Yes.
And it could be just me.
All right, I'm going to take out this last one and I am going to show you that last knot again since I got interrupted. So I'm going to go ahead and I have this first Eastland knot or this first sliding knot. And then I'm going to take the next one and I am going to wrap it around the end of my paintbrush. So here's the piece that's going to be moving. It's in the front. It's going to wrap backwards. It would be nice if I could do 2 or 3. And then I'm going to slide this off. I know Felicia can't hear me. That's okay. We'll keep going.
So the system, it kicked me out and brought me back in, but when it did so, it muted you. It muted the camera. So I can hear you guys now.
Yay.
But just know that you are not in landscape.
Oh.
You're in portrait, even though your camera's turned.
Got it. Tricky. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. How's that?
So now turn it around because you're now your hands are above.
Okay. Upside down.
There we go.
Okay,
sorry, everybody.
Look at us problem.
It kicked me out, but I'm back.
I know, right? Haters are gonna hate today. So, but we will persist. Don't you worry. Yes. Felicia and I will persist. Okay. So now that I'm right side up, I'm going to take this out one more time and show you. And then I'll do this whole entire knot bracelet one more time because I know we got interrupted. Am I in landscape now?
You are awesome.
Okay. We're good enough for now. Yeah. Okay, I'm taking this last knot out to show you one more time. So I'm lining these pieces up over top of my paintbrush. The part that I'm going to be wrapping with is in the front. And I'm going to take it and wrap over top of those two. And then I'm going to coil it around 1 or 2 more times. And here's the end. The goal is to get this off of the paintbrush and to get this to go through those loops that I've kind of created. So I carefully push that off my paintbrush and I carefully put this end through my coils. And I gently pull because I don't want them to totally uncoil. And I don't want them to stack on top of each other. And then I have a second knot that's going to be able to do quite a bit of movement. So with both of these sliding knots, you can really play around with the size of the bracelet. And then if you are worried, because if I pulled this too long, if I pulled too much, I could potentially pull off of the bracelet. You can also tie knots on either ones of these so that they can't ever go past those sliders. But I think that this looks good. You can trim this down if you want to. Again, you can add some glue. So someone was talking about glue before. That's always a good option for you to finish off anything just to make sure that the knots aren't going anywhere. But they're pretty good And because of the texture of the suede, they're really not going to do too much moving, except for the sliding up and down because you created it that way. So I'm going to try this suede piece again from the start since we got interrupted. And I am going to cut a piece that's about 20 inches long. So I'm going to use a little bit of a darker suede this time, but it's the exact same idea. And I think this might already be 20 inches. Look at me. Cool. So now that I have this, I can pick out what beads I want to go with this one. I want to use the silver ones, but I can't not use the blue because the blue ones are so pretty. So, what do I want to do? Maybe something like this. Do I want? Yeah, I might do something like this with 5 beads this time. So I'm going to go ahead and string them through, but I don't think I'm going to tie knots in between these because I have so many of them. I think I got a piece that was a little too wide. There we go. So here's this piece of suede that's 20 inches. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to go ahead and bead these, string them through. Here we go. Here we go. And I'm not tying knots in between. And that can be your choice with what you want to do with yours. And you can decide if you want knots on the end or not. I don't even know if I want knots on the end. Maybe I do, but I'm going to leave a little bit of space. This might be one of my worry bracelets I was talking about before, where I leave a little bit of space and you can have some movement here. So I'm not tying it all the way right next to the beads. I'm giving some space. That's a little too much space. A little bit closer. So if you're making a bracelet, I would love to see it. So you can take a picture and you can share it at Learn with Michaels. I hope you're following our Instagram. We have lots of cool inspiration and pictures from lots of different classes that are happening. So here we go, we have our beads. And now we have these 2 longer pieces. So we're lining them up. And then we're about to make our sliding knots on each one of these ends. So here I take my paintbrush. And I'm going to cross over these 2. I'm crossing over what's already laying down. And I'm going towards my hand with my coils. And then I'm going to carefully slip this off. And I'm going to take the end and try and stick it through those coils as best I can. Ooh, it's a struggle. I think it's the end of this piece I'm going to cut off because it's bent. It's kind of going in the wrong direction for me. Then I can slide this through a lot easier. Famous last words. There we go. Ooh, they're really making me work for this bracelet today. All right, there we go. That's a really nice sliding knot. I like the way that one looks. I was able to give myself an extra coil that time, which I like too. Okay. Now I'm going to line up over here. And I'm going to go across these 2. And I'm going to keep coiling backwards. I'm going to slide off the paintbrush or pencil or whatever you have. And I'm going to slide this through. There we go. And I have my second sliding knot. Awesome. I can kind of play around with these to move them into the center of my bracelet and to have that tightness that I want, where I want it, be able to fit on whatever size wrist I'm trying to fit onto, just by sliding these knots around. So I believe we are near the end of our class, and I hope that you have enjoyed our time together. You're welcome to cut these down, or you're welcome to leave them, whatever you think works best for you and for the size of the bracelet that you're making. But we were able to make these sliding knots. We were able to make some braided leather bracelets using these ribbon crimps at the end. And you can either choose to use some jewelry findings with some lobster clasps, or you can always have that elastic on the end too. So I'm sorry for the technical difficulty, but I had a good time. And I hope that you're able to join us again. Tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching how to make bows, bow making. So we're going to learn 3 different styles of bow making. And if you have some 2.5-inch ribbon, that's wired ribbon, go ahead and grab some of that, and I'll teach you tomorrow how to make a couple different kinds of bows. So thanks for coming, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.